athletes that are injured and are going through injury are going to be able to get strategies from me and from you and learn about the depths of it.
Green dot short court, I could not hit without pain. It definitely scared me. I don't think any of my audience really knows this side of me.
Knowing how injured you were, how do you think that impacted your mentality?
It was bad. This type of mindset and spiraling is definitely not something you should think about while you're playing. It's frustrating.
I swear I'm not psychoanalyzing you right now.
No, it's okay. No one's ever done this to me. This is very interesting.
Not therapy. But I think this happens for a lot of players. Even that little thought of, will it hurt? Takes you out of the present, which means you lose focus. Becomes this really vicious, very nasty cycle. Having to sit at home, what things do you think have been helpful for your mental?
I really like the phrase to change perspective.
Cognitive behavioral skills, actually it's like a therapy thing. The advice is still be involved into tennis, just in different ways.
It's hard work, but I'm very, very lucky to be here because of tennis and the grind that it puts you through and the positions that it puts you through. It's just I can take anything and deal with it.
This podcast episode in particular, because your storyline is really interesting, and as a tennis player and the backstory. Welcome to the All Mental Podcast for athletes, where we do a deep dive into the mental strategies so that you can be able to gain a competitive edge in any sport that you play. I'm your host, Charles, and while I am a licensed therapist, it's only for informational and educational purposes only. This is not substitute for your own individual therapy. If you do need a therapist, please do find one inside your area. Professional tennis player with a career high ranking of 1,200 in the world, Britney Chiu. Welcome to the All Mental Podcast for athletes. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm a little tired from work earlier, but super excited to be here. This is my first ever podcast. So yeah, we're going to see how this goes.
It's going to go great. I think it's the topic that we're focusing on today, as far as the mental side of injury and how that impacts you as a player and how it impacts you mentally going through that injury, but then also how that impacts you mentally when you come back from the injury. Because I think that's something that a lot of athletes grow through, especially tennis players, is once you go back onto the court, and no matter what sport you play, that injury has some mental impact, which actually ends up impacting your performance overall. And also, congratulations for your family starting up the restaurant too, because it looks so good. It looks so good. You're out in California, right?
Yes. Northern California.
I'm all the way in Massachusetts, so I'm like, dang, if I was anywhere closer, I would stop by and get some food.
Yeah, if you ever come to California, let me know.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. All right, so I think, let's just start off with, what is your injury? I think it's pretty important.
Believe, I guess you could say self-diagnosed, but also I have a lot of evidence to back it up, but probably just a bit of tendonitis in the forearm, and then tennis elbow, a little bit of golfer's elbow. And yeah, I guess that pretty much explains that area. And then as it's been more than 2 months, as my chiropractor would say, that's when it becomes a little I guess you change it to chronic. It becomes chronic. I'm not too sure, but that's what he said.
Yeah, so which means you're off a tour for a while now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 3 months, almost 3 months since I was just playing consistently. So, I play less than, I started coaching recently as well, just to kind of get myself on the court. And I still enjoy being on the court, and I also like helping people as well, especially when there's some people that I know that I'm I can help you out a few things in your game, and then boom, their level goes up. So I'm like, oh, this is fun. So sometimes I hit with them, but yeah, I would say 30 minutes of actual proper hitting a week. And other than that, yeah, it's a big jump from my normal routine.
Yeah, but I think that you mentioned something there that we'll get to. I think it's a really fascinating strategy when it comes to injury. You mentioned it, and I want to get back to it. I think that's really cool that you do that. And also your Project Rebuild series is really awesome too, because there's a process that not a lot of athletes see. So if no one has checked out your Project Rebuild, you definitely should.
Go check it out.
Yes. Yeah, you're on episode 5 or 6 right now, which is really great.
Yes.
How has that between starting up the restaurant and everything else, editing it?
Mhm.
What has that process been like for you mentally? Like, when you first, sorry if this brings up bad memories, but when you first
Yes.
really figured out that it was an injury, we talked a bit about it beforehand, but like,
Mhm.
give the audience members a kind of a rundown of, because you're on tour, you're playing a bunch, and then when that injury first sets in, what is that like for you mentally?
I mean, I've been playing tennis since I was 4. I'm now 21. So I've gone through injuries almost every year, multiple every year. So I'm pretty experienced with injuries, how to deal with them and everything like that. With this one specifically, it definitely scared me just because it's something that I haven't had before. I mean, last year I was out for 2 months because of golfer's elbow. So then this one was kind of the other side, and I was like, okay, don't know how to deal with this side of the arm and how I should deal with it as because I was already playing on tour and I was
Mhm.
doing well. Um, my game was doing really well. Specifically, I was training really well and I was basically playing at a level that I wanted to play. The only
Mhm.
difference was, I mean, prior to me going out to tournaments, it was like 6 months off of tournaments and 6 months off of
Mm.
matches, which is a like going back into matches mentally it's completely different as well. So although my level was higher, my mental game was still pretty low. Like I was struggling to focus more than 2 points.
Mm.
So for example, I mean I always struggle with this quite a lot just growing up. It's like winning 2 points in a row. That type of mental thing, especially in tennis, is super important. So
Yeah.
I would like play a really good point and then I would double fault. Or I would play a really good point and just miss a return or something like that. And that was happening quite a lot when I went back on tours. But I mean, I was pretty confident in the fact that I was playing good tennis. It was just that focus. And yeah, so the minute that I kind of felt the injury, I was like, hopefully with rest and time, this will go away. I'm still uh, passing qualifying or almost passing qualifying. I did have my career high win against like an 800 WTA or seven. She was like seven something at the time. So I was like, so
Mm.
this just shows that I'm doing something right.
Right. Right.
And I was like, I'm just going to keep going. And I was like, hopefully the arm gets better. If I need to rest it, I'll take 2 weeks off and then we'll see how it goes. And then, yeah, so I played those. I went to Thailand during the time off. I went to go to an academy called Troops because I've been there before. They're really nice people. I tried to play the first day and it just wasn't happening. Um, then, so I just did a lot of fitness. The arm was still bothering me for the whole 2 weeks. Decided to They were like, "Oh, you have a tournament this weekend," because I signed up for the tournament. So I was like, "Oh yeah." So
Awkward.
they're like, "You need to go back on court because hitting is gonna be different for you." So I went back on court. They're like, "Let's start you with some green dot."
Mm.
Green dot short court, I could not hit without pain. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, this is not good. So we switched to orange ball for about an hour. Still felt it a little bit, but then after like it warmed up, was a little bit better. And then next day, green dot. Next day, I flew out to go like play. So I was
Mm.
like, okay. And that week it was bad. Not the pain level, but just mentally, it was
Mm.
not good. Um, yeah, I think mid match or a few moments into the match, I couldn't swing my backhand at all. Like there was pain, and then mentally I was just like, what am I doing here type of thing.
Mm.
Also
Yeah.
because I mean, tennis is a pretty expensive sport, like, and especially everything's kind of out of pocket. So once you're kind of playing a match and it's not going well, and not just because of something you can control. So when it's like that, then you start thinking like, what am I doing here? Like, what did I spend all of this money here for type of thing. And then this type of mindset and spiraling is definitely not something you should think about while you're
Right.
playing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah. And then I lost the first set pretty quick, like 1-6 to someone who I think, I could have it would have been like a good match, but I still think my game is pretty good against those types of players. And then I decided to I started swinging and then just letting go of my arm, which helped with the
Mhm.
pain. And then I was able to get like a game. And I was like, okay, maybe if I get one more game, I'll like keep playing. It was
Mhm.
already in the second set. I was down like 1-6-0 something. And
Mhm.
then I lost like my serve. And I was like, okay, yeah, there's no point.
It's not, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
So yeah, and then uh yeah, it's just tough because it's frustrating because you know that your body is limiting you to
Mhm.
like your abilities, and it's not like you can do anything to control it. So
And I think that encompasses both things I want to talk about is you mentioned like that mental piece while you're playing with the injury and how that impacts your actual performance. But I want to push that down the line for a bit because I think the first thing that comes out of it is, once you actually go back home and it like clicks to you and you're like, yeah, I can't play through this one. I can play through a lot of stuff, play through a lot of elbow stuff. I can ice things, I can do everything else, but this one I can't play through. And so what
yes.
was that? What has that mentality been like having to sit at home and do other things besides being on the court? What has it been mentally? Then how have you gotten through that aspect mentally?
Ooh, it was pretty tough, especially the first few weeks. I think just because I mean, once you go back out to tour, and for me, usually, I mean, some people they only like to go out for like 3 weeks before they go home because they just don't they can't handle it mentally. For
Mhm,
me, I'm used to going for at least 3 weeks. And then at that time, it's like I was already out for like 2 months. And then
mhm,
once you're in that environment of like that hustle, that tennis tournament, everyone, all we're thinking about is tennis 24/7. The minute I came home and it's like I can't play tennis, I'm like just sitting in my bed. I'm like, okay, what do I do?
mhm,
Right? It's like I'm just being lazy now. And then,
mhm,
I mean, there's still tournaments going on at the time, like tournaments I would have played if I wasn't injured, and players that I know, and they're posting how their results are. I'm like, I'm just
mhm.
falling behind now. But then at the same time, like, I know, I mean, there's things I can do, but at the same time, like, you have to let your body rest to heal, right? So it's like
Mhm,
finding that balance in between. But yeah, the first week to 2 weeks were very, very tough. For some reason, I was also very jet lagged, which doesn't normally happen.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
sleep schedule was really messed up for the first 2 weeks, and just mentally, I was just very down for
Mhm,
2 weeks. Yeah, it was kind of like my whole world was just like shifted. I was like, I'm just like a couch potato right now.
mhm.
Yeah, so it went from like training 24/7, thinking about tennis
Yeah.
24/7 to now just sitting at home.
I think that happens for a lot of athletes too. Like even as an individual sport for tennis, like you're all on your own, right? So like your
Hmm.
support system, I think is interesting. Even if you have players that are your support system, like before, like your brother's out, like your brother's like restraining his racket right now. So you're around tennis and you see it and you're like, wow, I'm being left behind. But even if you're on a
Yes.
team and in team sport, same thing happens as well. Now you're in the locker room with everyone else. You're going to treatment. Everyone's going out to the practice field. So now
Yes,
you're getting left
exactly.
behind in that sense too. So I think no matter what sport you play, I think there's that aspect of it to where like, oh man, I'm getting left behind. Do you
Yes.
feel like the toughness came from a bit of that, and where else do you think the toughness came from mentally?
I think it's also just because I mean you have players who absolutely love the sport. Like they will
Mm,
continue playing the sport forever. And they cannot skip a day on the tennis court just because they love it so much, no matter the day. For me, I think tennis, I have grown to love it more. It's like a
mm,
more of a love hate relationship, more of it's like, this is my lifestyle since I was little, and I'm going to stick with it because it's what I'm good at.
mm,
And then, I mean, growing up, I didn't play any tournaments at all. So I started at the age of 4. I think my first tournament, I played some like junior team tennis like once
mm,
and we won. And then I think up until 16, I only played 2 tournaments overall. And that's
mm,
it. And so the tournament aspect and experience wise, I felt like I was already behind everyone. I
mm,
didn't know the difference because, I mean, training with intention is what you mentioned earlier. I
Yeah.
didn't do any of that. I was kind of just like, all I would do every single day for 4 hours is drills
Mm,
and not hitting with people, like control drills. This was just baskets. So
mm,
it's completely different compared to actually playing against someone and like figuring out, because tennis is sort of like a chess game, you know.
right.
You're playing yourself and then you're also playing someone else who has a mind of their own, right?
Mm.
Mind of their own, they're different game styles. And for me, training is definitely completely different, depending on what you're doing, of course, to actual match play.
That is your lifestyle, playing tennis, tennis, tennis. Did you have this question of like, who am I now as an individual if I can't play tennis, or who am I now as a person?
Yeah, I always used to think like it's tennis or nothing really.
Mm,
But then I think as I'm growing up a bit more, I do see the potential in me doing other things. But also it's the fact that I mean, I'm on social media now, and basically everything is tennis. Tennis,
mm,
tennis, tennis is
yeah.
my niche. Everyone loves when I'm talking about my tennis career. I've tried to branch out a little bit, but it, there's
The algorithm's
there's
like,
no
no. You're like,
yeah.
all right, back to
Algorithm is
tennis.
like nope, no nothing at all.
It's like that SpongeBob
Actually
episode. I'm like,
hurt my algorithm now. So so I'm like, okay. Um, but yeah, so it's like my brain is like, okay, if I don't do tennis, what am I going to do with my social media now? Type of thing. I mean, I can always
yeah.
switch, but it's going to be a drastic switch, and it's not going to be easy. And then another thing is just like I've dedicated so much time and energy, and I mean, I've only been on tour for a few years, and just because of like my past experience, which is like I feel like none compared to some of these juniors. I'm training with some of these juniors, and I'm like, oh wow, like they're
Mm,
good.
mm-hmm.
And like I talk about it, I'm like, wait, but they've probably played over 100 times matches than I have,
Yeah.
and that's a lot.
What do you feel like has helped you mentally through this process of having injury and working through that injury? What things do you think have been helpful for your mental?
Distracting myself
Mm,
for sure. I'm
yeah.
definitely not someone who can sit around for too long. I like to stay busy, be productive. So I mean, even on my days off, especially since I started social media, and even when I'm playing tennis during my downtime, instead of doom scrolling now, or even if I am doom scrolling,
Hmm.
I'm kind of I'm using it as research,
Yeah.
as a way to like focus on the algorithm, what works, what doesn't, or I decide I'm gonna edit, just everything kind of productive, something like that. That keeps me busy, that keeps me from thinking. Another thing is I think after the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks where I was like, okay, arms, this is gonna take a while.
Hmm.
I decided to just kind of enjoy my summer a little bit more, enjoy
Hmm.
the time I have with my friends and family. Because, I mean, during the summer, I'm usually not home anyways. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then especially now, I mean, I'm 21, which is still pretty young, but all of my friends are like, they're starting to get busier with their lives too. So it's like, okay,
Mm,
we're at that point where, we have less and less time with each other. Might as well just enjoy my summer, enjoy my time with them. And then, of course, still focus on the work aspect when I can,
yeah.
but just kind of relax
Yeah.
and
Have
just
that
like
balance.
appreciate that I get a break. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a cool mindset to have. I think what happens with a lot of athletes and injuries at twofold. One is what you mentioned before, which you talked about, is you become a bit isolated from your
Yeah.
teammates, from the world around you. But then also,
Yes.
the other thing that happens to some athletes is their whole world shifts, because a lot of people put their self-esteem, put their self-mattering behind
Mhm.
being that athlete, and once that's
Yes.
taken away and it's not there anymore, then it becomes this, it's not a midlife crisis, but the midlife crisis of,
Pretty much.
yeah, like
Like, oh my God.
I'm an athlete. If I'm not an athlete, then who
I
am
don't have an
I?
identity anymore.
Yeah, I
Like,
have
who
no
am I?
identity. What is
Yeah.
my mattering based off of? And no matter, this is becoming a pretty consistent theme. No matter who I talk to about injury, whether it's like an ACL injury or whether it's Tommy John surgery or whether it's tennis elbow, is the constant theme through it all is they end up finding. And usually don't find us. Usually athletes don't find us for two different, unless it's two different ways. either A, injury, or you become older and like athlete old is
Mm.
like, like 30 something, right? And after
For
you
Djokovic,
or
38, he's still up there.
yeah, he's breaking down now. He's like, I can't hang
And he's
anymore.
still semifinals. That's
I
crazy.
know, I know. He's pushing it.
Yes.
Or they start like a family or have like kids or
Yes.
whatnot. But ultimately, they realize, and it's not a bad thing either. They realize that I am more than
Mhm.
just an athlete. I am
Mhm.
also a human being. I also have friends. I also have family. I also have hobbies and interests that make me who I am and that matter to me, and that builds my own mattering and my own self esteem. So
Mhm.
self esteem really comes around in three different buckets of physical. So as far as athletes go, like their physical, their them being an athlete is a big part of their self esteem, like their successes, their accolades, how their training is going. Then you also have
Mhm.
social as another aspect of self esteem, which
Yes.
I think is a good thing to fall back on when you have injuries. You fall back on your social aspect of
Mhm.
things. So your family members that you don't get to talk to much often, or their friends that you don't get a chance to hang out with, building
Yeah.
up that social bit and realizing that like, oh, like I'm a really important person because one, I am an individual. I'm human first and foremost, but also I
Mhm.
have all these different important relationships around me. And if
Yes.
you're on a
Yes.
team, then it's building those relationships with those teammates,
Mhm.
which in turn helps when you go back onto the court, if you go back into the field, when you go back into wherever you're going, because then it brings a level of, I would say, comfort is kind of how it's
Mhm.
described
Yes.
as, like, for example, you mentioned, like getting those 2 points back to back is a big deal, right?
Mhm.
And then because what can happen too is in playing is you get a point and then it's like, all right, cool, I got a point, but also I gotta get this other point. If I don't get this other point, that might get broken. If I get broken, that's a problem. And
Yeah.
then
It's
that whole next
boom,
point
boom, boom, boom.
hinges on it stacks. And then it's like, if I mess up this shot and you hit a nice serve, like, oh sweet, it's an approach shot. Okay, do I like hit it down the line or do I do
Straight
I
in the
drop
net. That one's going straight in the net. Straight in the net or to the fence. If
do
you
I
if you think of
swing
any of
volley
those.
this? Or do I drop shot this right now? Like, what I do? And then it becomes
Yes.
all this pressure on this one shot. Like, if I miss
Mhm.
this easy shot, then what does that make me as a player, right? Do I
Mhm.
really belong up here? And it brings this
Yes.
pressure to it, and that
Yes.
added pressure it negatively impacts performance, which I can talk about in a second. But having that in the back of your head instead of like, hey, it's just a game of tennis. It is extremely
Yeah.
important to me. That doesn't mean I try less,
Yeah.
but I have friends and family and people that are going to support me. I have interests that I love to do
Mhm.
outside of just tennis, and I'm a human being.
Mhm.
Wow. All right. So this ball is just a ball.
Yeah.
And then it brings a lot more comfort. And why that actually is important is because talking about focus is about being in the present moment. But if your mind is
Mhm.
focused on the past or the future, then your
Yes.
mind literally can't focus on what's happening in
What's in
front
front
of
of you?
you. And
Yes.
for you as a tennis player, what do you usually focus on? Are you like a ball focused person or do you like focus elsewhere?
Oof. I think the ball. I
All
think.
right.
I mean,
Homework for
probably. I
you.
mean, eyes on
Homework
the
for
ball.
you. All right, this is homework for you too,
It's been
actually.
a while. It's been 3
I,
months.
I know. But when you go back, think about like you'll pick it up
Yeah.
quickly.
I
Like
think
what do
for
you
me,
focus on?
in my opinion, there's always two types of players. There's one who's more strategic, kind of
Okay.
plays the game of chess, and then there's one that's more instinctual, just
Mm,
doing whatever the body does. And I think
yeah.
I'm more of the instinctual person. Like I follow my instincts a lot more because
Okay.
all of those drills that were drilled into me at a young age. So it's more like the ball is in this spot. Oh, I'm hitting it there. I'm hitting it like this. So I guess
Mm,
I'm more of like just focusing on the ball. And then I don't know. For tennis, it's like for me, I still don't like running. It's one of the worst things ever to exist. So my like motto for me, it's like whenever I'm struggling or say I'm running too much,
mm,
my game is like if I make the other person run, I don't have to run.
mm.
So I just make it that simple in my brain. So it's just like I'm gonna make them run, so I don't have to run, and then it's fun because I get to see them struggle.
Like left,
So
right,
that
left, right, left, right,
yep,
left, right,
basically
down
that's
the
literally
line.
it.
There you
And
go.
then my two-handed forehand has a pretty nasty cross court, so I always
Mm.
pull them out wide and then kind of just make them run.
Cool. But I think that's important too, because it's like if you're a focal point and as you play more, as you get back into playing, you'll be able to you'll think about like, oh, what do I really focus on? Think about because it could be like every sport is different for what people focus on, and depending if you're defense, offense, etc. But for
Mhm.
tennis players, like for me, for example, it's ball, right? And my motto is without judgment. So I don't judge the ball for what it's doing because I have no control over how it's coming back at me. I can see it, like, oh, they would turn topspin or drop shot or power or flat, whatever. But without judgment, what does the ball need to do? So I
Mhm.
focus on it and I'm just like cross court, down the
Mhm.
line, or whatever
Mhm.
the case may be. So I know that's my focus. So, but
Mhm.
if you, are having all that added pressure from you, and it's going back to our, this is all intertwined. It's not a
Yes.
tangent. This is like if
Yes.
so if
No,
you are a
literally,
player
we're gonna go in circles.
we're going in circles here. It's coming back too.
Yes.
So if you're a player that you put a lot of your self esteem on and mattering on you being an athlete, when that pressure hits, then when that easy ball comes through, it's a floater. Typically, if your focus is ball down the line, it's approach shot and I'm coming in, but ball down the line. Now it's
Mhm.
I see ball, but what if I miss? What if I do this? What if I do it? Now, literally, your eyes are not focused on the ball and then your brain
Yes.
can't calculate like, oh, it's above the net. You should be hitting this way more flat. You can hit power on it, or it's actually below the net. So you need to add
Yeah.
something to it to get it over the net.
And there's just
If your
way too
brain is
much.
elsewhere, yeah, you do
Yes.
something different and then you miss it, and then you miss it. And
And
you're like,
all of
damn, I
this
really do
happens in
suck.
like all of this happens in like 0.1 seconds.
Yeah, just a split. And if you miss, you're like, "Oh my god, I suck. I suck so bad. I'm freaking terrible." Someone watch that. Like, I hope that wasn't. Did I have the swing vision up? Like, I'm cutting that clip out.
I
Like,
got I got the swing vision up. Oh my god, I can't wait to clip this and show my friends like look how bad of a shot I hit the other day.
it's going nowhere. Like, nope, nope. This is bad. And then it becomes. And then the next point, it's like, okay, well, if I mess this up, oh crap, I missed the first serve. What if I miss the second serve? I'll just dink it in, and then that's no good for you either. So
Mhm.
that is, and that minute second can really impact your performance as a player. Because now instead of it
Yes.
being 30-15, now it's 30 all, now it's 30-40, now you're in trouble. And
Mhm.
so having that fallback that I am more than just a tennis player, I'm more than just whatever athlete, because you are more than just that as a person as a whole, brings a
Mhm.
lot more comfort. And Bryson DeChambeau
Yes.
talks about it, golfer, as far as like when his dad passed away, it was like I realized I was more than just a golfer, and then brings a lot more relaxation to me as a player. But people usually
Mhm.
find that out during injury. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
glad, like, and you like figure that out during injury too. But I think that the advice is something you mentioned like the first minute of the podcast was if you're injured, a really good strategy is to still be involved into tennis, just in different
Mhm.
ways. You can do two
Yes.
things. One, you keep that connection, so you being a coach and coaching
Mhm.
others gets you involved, and even if you're just feeding balls, that gets you
Yeah.
involved and still keeps you involved in tennis. And also posting on
Yes.
social media keeps you involved in tennis.
Yes.
So it still keeps that string attached,
Mhm.
and you found like, wow, I really found a different appreciation for the sport. So when you go back into the court, you come with that appreciation.
Yeah.
It's a lot more relaxing. Yeah. And you
Yes.
have your family
Yeah.
too, which sounds like that's been a nice distraction, a good comfort.
Sometimes. I'm kidding. No, yes,
Well, I
yes,
mean, you get
yes.
the building of the restaurant, and it seems
I'm
very
just kidding. I'm
stressful.
just kidding. So we opened up the restaurant. I've been working on the designs of literally everything for them, but we have so many employees, and I mean, everything is baked fresh daily, so everyone has to work
Mhm.
so much. All of the employees probably have less than 4 hours of sleep each day at the moment. Last night, I tried to sleep a little longer, but I am waking up at 4 a.m., getting back after closing. We close at 5, but we don't
Mhm.
like come back until like 9. Last night I
Mhm.
tried to sleep a little more. I slept 2 hours and
Nice.
then couldn't sleep. So, and then I just had like a 18-hour shift or something like that. So
Mm.
now I'm here. But
Yeah, you're a trooper. You're a trooper.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
4 days like this.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you guys just open, and it looks again. You're making more jealous. 'Cause, like it's all big, fresh daily. I'm like, dang, I wish it's got to be in Cali. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
leave my
next
family
time.
behind. Dad's going to Cali. I'm gonna fly out there, get some food, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So I think from an injury side of things, I think that's really cool thing that you do. That I don't know
Mhm.
if you realize how impactful it is for recovering from injury. Is like
I
having your
think,
family around you and
yeah.
friendship.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially, I mean, well, growing up for me, my family, I was around my family 24/7. So, I
Mhm.
mean, we opened this restaurant up, but previously my family also had restaurants in other locations as like down in the Bay Area. So I grew up being around the restaurant, being around them 24/7. If I wasn't at school, I was at the restaurant with them. Then we would go home, I was with them. We would eat at home or at the restaurant. So, I mean, I was just with them 24/7, never left their side. If we go to the tennis court, my dad's coaching me. Sometimes my mom, if
Mm-hmm.
she has some free time from work, she would come and watch. So it was kind of always like that. So, I mean, I still love spending time with them. It's just sometimes like, I mean, we spent so much time together, right? So it's like
Yeah.
I can I can miss just a little bit if I need to. I know they're also getting older, so I take that into
Yeah.
account as well. Um, but yeah, and then I mean, I moved up here in Sacramento, and my whole life, like the rest of my family, all of my friends, because as I travel, like my friends are around the world.
Yeah.
But growing up, I did go to public school up until eighth grade. So
Mm-hmm.
I still, luckily, I still have like my best friends are from down there, like San
Yeah.
Jose. And it is a 2 hour drive though. So
Yeah.
it's a bit tough. And then up here, I recently moved up to Sacramento and I don't have many friends here at all. So that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of tough also for the first 2 weeks because I was like, what do I do? Who do I hang out
Right.
with? And I mean, usually I'd hang out with my brother, I'd be completely fine, but he was gone playing tournaments and he was
Mm-hmm.
doing well too. So that didn't help my mental state. Cause I was like, dang, you're doing good. Like I
Damn,
should be
bro.
there with you. Cause
Do a bit
there
worse.
was
Do a bit worse.
no, no, not that, but it was like there was a
Gotcha.
few times he was like, because if I was healthy for 2 more weeks, I would have met
Yeah.
up with him and then we would have played at the
Oh, word.
same place. I was like, that would have been so fun. But yeah. But eventually he got injured too, so he came home.
Yeah, just the rehab together, just
Yeah.
chilling,
So
rehabilitating.
but yes, definitely finding comfort in just social like relationships.
Mm,
Because being by yourself and being isolated and just I mean it's good sometimes. I do like being alone. I am pretty independent, but having people to go to just to kind of take up your time and also just enjoy each other's company is super important. Yeah. And then it's a good distraction and plus you're like spending time with your loved ones.
yeah, I like this podcast episode. It has a really nice family vibe to it. Usually just like strategy, but it has a very nice
Yeah.
family like vibe to it. Yeah, I think it's such an important thing with injury and like making that connection. All right, I want to get to the second half of things is when you are injured and you are playing, how that actually impacts your performance. So even though you're not back on tour yet, but like rewinding it back a bit to when like, you knew you were injured, like really, really injured, and you were playing in that tournament. I know you went down like 1-6 and then love something, but if you bring your mind back to that, how do you think knowing how injured you were, how do you think that impacted your mentality? And like, what were you thinking about while you're trying to play tennis, knowing that it's like I'm busted up?
Yeah. I mean, it was really, really bad. I mean, I did make a YouTube video about it because I was like, oh, this is kind of like this comes out good, it'll be good. But then it went bad, and I was like, this is still good because I mean, people want to see
Yeah.
the ups and the downs, and
Hmm.
even and I mean, there's so many downs in tennis. Like tennis is not an upward climb at all. There's just so many factors, and I mean, like, I think in the match, the whole time I was just like, should I retire? Should I retire? And that thought
Hmm.
alone is probably the worst thing you can think of because that
Hmm.
just means you're going to give up, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
I've never retired in a match before besides maybe doubles, mixed
Hmm.
doubles with my brother because I literally could not move like
Hmm.
one step. But other than that, in my singles matches, in my whole single career, I've never retired because I was like, I'm gonna fight this to the end. And
Yeah.
that match, I was like, is this going to be the first time I retire? I was like, but I can't give up. But then I
Yeah.
would hit a backhand and I was like, it would hit the bottom of the net. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
like what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. At least it
This
halfway
is
up.
just
I mean, at least
I
hit
was like
tape.
it would hit the bottom of the net and it would hurt so much. So I was like,
Mm,
okay, what to do? So then I was like, okay, let's think about this logically. Do I risk uh like injuring myself even more or should I retire and decide I'm gonna rest the rest of the week and hopefully be good by the next few days to play the next week.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about those during the match, and then I was also thinking about should I just go home.
Mm.
So those
Right.
were also balancing as well. And I
Yeah.
think especially for like a lot of touring tennis players, it's like getting homesick is pretty difficult
Mhm.
because then you start thinking like, oh, I just want to go home. I just want the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because I mean, I told you I'm pretty independent. I don't mind being by myself. I
Mhm.
did travel like a whole year by myself, no coach, nothing. But I mean, it wasn't a good year either. So, but yeah, I mean, only specifically this year I started to feel a bit homesick, and it was a new feeling as well. So
Yeah.
feeling that on the court too, I'm like, this is not normal. So just
Mm.
so many factors coming together, and then at that point, all of those in my head, I went, I'm not even playing this match anymore. Like I
Yeah, you're
knew
elsewhere.
myself, like I'm not here on the court.
What do you think it impacts most mentally, like, when you are trying to play with an injury? Do you think it impacts, like, focus more, confidence more? What do you think it really what do you think it mostly impacts mentally?
Probably focus.
Mm.
Maybe it's me being also because I mean it's is this a cop out answer? But it's also kind of scientific. I don't know. You're the sports therapist here, but like the difference between females and males, the mindsets are completely different. So
Mm,
I think for me, like I start becoming more emotional. It's like
mhm.
I can't help it. For guys, like once you're pushed into a corner, it's like fight or flight
Yeah.
yeah, fight or flight instincts where like you guys all just kind of double down, grit your teeth and get through it. For
Mhm.
girls it's like sometimes, especially if it's something like that, and if I've been having a bad few weeks anyways, or if I'm mentally tired that day specifically, then it's like I just want to go hide in a corner and cry.
Mm, mhm, mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, I think that I mean the focus entirely. So then it's just like I just don't want to be here anymore type of thing. And then
Yeah, you definitely
especially
need
if
to.
like you have friends or just people watching you.
Mm.
For me, sometimes I think I'm like, I swear I don't play like this. Like this is not my game.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
I can't. I'm
I
not
got plenty of
putting.
other clips. I got plenty of
Yeah.
other stuff.
Because I think maybe also because I mean growing up with my brother, men's and women's tennis is completely different.
Mhm,
And especially, I mean, I used to travel with him so much. We would always go to like the men's and women's ITFs and futures.
mhm.
And you can drastically see the level difference. Especially, I mean, in the 15Ks, some sometimes there are people playing in qualies that, they're shooting for this dream, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't mean to be like super mean, but some of them are like a 6 UTR playing against like an 11. So it's
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
It's like
so drastic, right? And then I mean, women's game is so different also because of our emotional state. And I mean, I don't watch tennis at all. Like on TV,
mhm,
I don't
mhm,
follow anything. I just play unless
mhm.
I'm watching my brother play. So that's like the only time I ever watch. So being at these tournaments, I would go watch him. And then if he's still playing, sometimes I'd watch the ones around him
Yeah.
or I'd follow him to go watch some of the men's matches. And then sometimes we would pass by some of the women's matches. And yeah, I mean, you just see the drastic level difference. So then sometimes I'm watching it and I'm like, do I play like that? Like, because
Mhm,
sometimes, I mean, you can watch tennis, there's some really good points, and then sometimes it's just like one, two, done.
mhm,
And then that's the part that doesn't entice me as a like tennis player watching tennis, which is why I just don't watch it. I only watch like
mhm,
highlights if I really need to. Because it's
mhm,
just like that part is just so it's not interesting to me. So then when
mhm,
I'm playing, I'm like, I want to perform for people who are watching. And if
mhm.
I can't make it entertaining, then I'm a little like, mm,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm, yeah, I'm just like, I'm not happy with how I'm playing because I'm not being able to perform well. And I guess, I mean, thinking about too many things, but I'm definitely one to like compile stress and like put it into my
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. It sounds like you add pressure to yourself. You're like,
Yes,
"I'm
for
gonna be
sure.
Bill Monfils. I'm gonna entertain everybody."
Well, not
Yeah.
like that, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying, like, "Yeah, I wanna play a respectable rally. I don't wanna play like a boom boom,
yes.
like, oh,
Like
I
I want
serve out."
quality, like to play quality, like to play
Yeah,
properly is the thing. And then if I can't play properly, then I'm just building bad habits at this point.
yeah, it sounds like for you, playing while injured, while having a heavy injury really impacted focus, and then the response from that mentally was, like, not disassociate, like, disengagement. Like, "I want
Yes.
to get away from this." One, just because like I don't want to be here right now. This isn't helpful. And then also
Yeah.
two is I want to make sure I put out a respectable product of my tennis game, and this is just
Yes.
not just not it. So I
Yes.
mean, yeah, my therapist mind like it's funny like boys are so different. Like who cares about your emotions? Like it's
Yeah.
which is
Cuz
mental self discipline,
no,
which I
it
think
was it was crazy because I'm with my brother also
yeah
24/7. I mean, I travel with my brother all the time and he kind of tries to instill that guy mindset in me, I guess.
yeah yeah
Cuz like sometimes I'm like, "No, like it's like this." And he's like, "No, you should just kind of like push through it. Like you can do it." And then I was like, okay, like maybe it's a me problem. And then
yeah
this year, I actually made a lot of friends this year on tour, which is also kind of why I was like, I kind of want to stick this out because
hmm
I made a lot of good relationships and it was kind of the first time where I felt like comfortable
yeah
opening up to people on tour and like finding like really good friendships. So I was like, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm playing okay-ish tennis and I see like this going places.
yeah
Um, and then like there were some times I would be because prior to me going to Thailand, I was asking my roommate at the time, and I was like, I think I should go home because I was like, my
hmm
arm hurts. I don't know like how my game is because I kept going like this mentally.
yeah
And then I was opening up to her. We had like a long discussion, and then she was just basically saying like, you just need more experience because like with girls, blah blah blah. And the way we were speaking, she was like, it was like the same as I usually speak, or like as I
mm.
usually think. So I was like, so I'm not the crazy one here. So I was like, so it's just a girl thing. And then
mm.
I used to think I was like, I'm just crazy because my brother would
Mm.
always say like, oh no, like you should just do it this way. So that's when I kind of like realized how different the mental aspect of the game is too, and how much it changes.
What do you think would be helpful for you mentally like when you do like well two things what do you think would have been helpful hmm, I'll phrase it like this
Okay.
when you go back onto the court like when you start playing again right
Hmm.
I think it's going to be that mental aspect there in your brain which I think it happens for a lot of athletes once they come back from an injury even though you're technically like cleared right your doctor
Hmm.
says you're clear you're good to go your coach says you're clear you're good to go.
Hmm.
But in the back of your mind, it's like, what if I re-injure myself? What if I do this? Can
Yeah.
I still run full speed? Can I still hit the
Hmm.
shots that I want to hit them? What do you think would be best for you mentally when you go back into the court? What do you think would be most helpful
Mm,
to have that focus?
yeah. Well, I think for me, I've gotten injured so many times, and it's
Mm,
kind of funny because like whenever I come back from a long break, because sometimes mentally, like I said, there's some people who can't leave the tennis court for a few days, but like
yep.
for me, sometimes I take like a week off, 2 weeks off if I really need to. And I've always realized, because from what you hear and how I speak, I put a lot of stress on myself when I'm playing tennis. So
Hmm
after I've taken that break, I kind of release all that stress because I'm like, I have no more expectations for myself because I'm like, I did take a break. So if I play bad, it's because I took a break. Like that's my fault for taking a break and I just have to
hmm
deal with the consequences. And I usually find that I play a lot better. And then, so the first day, it's like I don't really miss a ball at all.
hmm
And I play like exactly how I want to play just because I'm so loose. So I think for the most part, like coming back from an injury and the mindset of like thinking of that doesn't really affect me. Um, and then also, later on down the line, like later in the week, it does affect me where I'm like, oh, I'm not physically like the physicality I had before I was injured is not the same. And
Mm,
then because of that, I do beat myself up a little bit. Like I was like, oh, my endurance is not the same. That's
mm,
my fault for not going to the gym. And then I like go on a downhill a little bit,
mm,
and then I just have to work my way back up, right? So it's like, uh, especially if I take like a few days off or a week
yeah.
off and don't do cardio, and then I have to do drills and I'm
Mhm,
dying, then I'm just like, oh,
mhm,
I'm weak.
mm, mm.
Like I'm
It's
super
funny.
weak.
It seems like, you know, I think this is cool because your thought process of you put a lot of pressure on yourself, right? But even
Hmm.
when you come back, it seems like the pressure is off because it sounds like the expectation you set for yourself of is, hey, I'm just coming back.
Hmm.
It's all good. If I miss
Yeah,
shots, it happens.
it's
It's a part
whatever.
of the
Yeah,
it's the process. It's the process
yeah.
of me getting back into things.
Hmm.
And then what's funny is once you're back into it, and it seems like I swear I'm not psychoanalyzing you right now. And then it's funny
No,
once you
it's
go
okay.
back.
No one's ever done this to me. This is very interesting.
Well, I'm not going full head on therapist. I'm not doing that to you. I'm not doing that because it's
I've
not what
never
this is
spoken
for.
to like a therapist before or a
Well,
sports
this is not
therapist.
therapy, and that disclaimer will be in the
Okay.
very beginning of this video. Not therapy. We're not.
Sorry, this is just a
I
conversation.
I would be diving on into your background, which is not happening here. But I think this happens for a lot of players. It's or it couldn't happen to a lot of players where like the thought process coming back is like, hey, it's just process. It's all
Hmm.
good. And then
Yeah.
once you're back into it, is the expectation switching towards like, well, I should be here right now, or I'm not where I was before right now. So that's
Hmm.
frustrating. And then how do I handle that frustration? And
Hmm.
then I think it can also bleed into confidence because then it becomes, well, okay, do I have the confidence that I can perform the way I performed before? Am I going to be able to
Yes.
get the same outcomes I was able to get before? And with that lack
Hmm.
of confidence goes bleeds back into focus and then fear of
Hmm.
failure and pressure. And so I just jump a lot. I'm going to clear it up. I think it's like this pathway of, and it stacks to where injury happens. That part is like, loneliness, disassociative, you're kind of like on the outskirts a bit, right? And then like we talk about strategies for that is like having friends, having a family, building other connections, staying in contact with the game helps through that
Hmm.
process. And then also, of course, thinking about how your rehabilitation is part of the process now. Like your job as an
Yes.
athlete now is to rehabilitate, and that is your training now. So switching that
Hmm.
and cognitive reframing that thought process of that is the strategies for when you are injured. And then coming back
Hmm.
onto it, what's layered in there is, you don't play it. One, it's just fear of re-injury or fear of
Hmm.
not being able to perform as you did before. And typically you're
Yes.
probably not because you took time off. It just was going to
Yes.
happen. Like the first thing in
Yes.
tennis, as you know, is your depth percent not your yeah well yeah your depth
Yeah.
perception goes first. You're like, I thought you hit that way slower than you did. Like I'm
Yeah.
shanking everything and I'm getting aced on second serve. What is happening right now? Like
Yes.
that perception goes very quickly. And if that goes, then it's like, okay, maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be, and then it impacts confidence. If your
Yes.
confidence is hit, then you're worried, will I ever get back here again? Can I get this ball again? Like this, they hit a drop shot. Should I run for it? Would I make it? Would I not make it? And,
Hmm.
the whole thing with confidence is that impacts performance because if your mind takes seconds to hesitate because you're thinking about other things, then you actually
Yeah.
physically hesitate. So they hit that drop and you're like, I don't know, can my knee get
Yeah.
there?
But
That
then
point
it's too
five
late.
seconds, you could have got there. And then you start running, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I could have got there. Like that's a point. Like now I'm down. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
now I'm
Yeah.
at out. So like that hesitation. And then also when it comes to hitting, especially for like tennis elbow, which like you need that every single shot. And so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, do I hit power here? Well, if I hit power, like will it hurt? Like if it hurts, then it's painful.
Yeah.
But even that little thought of will it hurt puts your mind in the future, which takes you out of the
Yeah.
present, which means you lose focus. So I think that cycle happens of lack of confidence, fear of failure, impacts focus, and then you mess up, and then it goes back into impacting your confidence
Yeah.
and reinforces that like I'm not as good as I used to be. And then it just becomes this really vicious, very nasty cycle.
Yeah.
Well, for you, it sounds like you have a really good strategy in the beginning. You just like go away from it.
What do you
But
mean?
what I would suggest is taking that mindset of, and for everyone listening, taking that mindset of process of it is all a part of the process. Part of
Yes.
the process of injury is getting back into it and getting back to that level. So if you're playing tournaments every single week and you're practicing 3 to 4 hours a day, and your rehab is now that you can only practice 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day,
Mhm.
an hour a day. You are not going to be as good as when you're in the full swing of things, and that is
Yes.
okay. It is
Yes.
typically is just simply a part of the process. So
Mhm.
for injured players, knowing that, hey, eventually I will get back to where I was before.
Mhm.
And even for now, if you have like an ACL type injury and you're like your leg is jacked up, you probably won't get back
Yeah.
to 100%. You might not get back to 90, which is a big deal for an athlete and makes a big margin. Thinking
Mhm.
about it, like, hey, I guess this goes against like the women thought. I guess what you're just saying, but regardless of your emotions, right? It's the subjective fact that I'm only going to get to 90% of my previous ability based on the
Mhm.
injury. For you, I think maybe not because it's not like a leg injury, maybe. But
Yeah.
it's like even if I
But
can only get to 90%, I don't know.
I was
Not
like
a
I was
doctor.
like, it's not a leg injury, but at the same time, like I told you, I hate running. So,
Yeah.
and I don't have a coach, so if I go run and do fitness, that's all on me.
Well, I think either way, it's like if it's that I hate, even if I can only get to 90% capabilities because of my injury, and that's just what I'm capped at now. 90% is what it is. Like, it
Mhm.
simply is what it is. And so I'm gonna
Yeah.
do everything in my power to, you know, perform the best at 90%.
Yeah.
And so I
Mhm.
think if the thought process becomes more process oriented rather than focusing on your past performances, your future performances, if you're going to win or not. And it all just becomes, hey, it's a part of the process. And the only way I
Yeah.
can get better at this is simply training more, practicing more, training appropriately based on my injury, not overtraining. And that's
Mhm.
just going to get me the results that I want, which is to win. And in your
Yes.
case, play to the standard of tennis. Play to the standard of
Yeah.
tennis. In order to get there, it's just, hey, if I have to take some off the ball a bit, and like, I don't want to become a pusher, but if I have to take the ball off a
Mhm.
bit, I can still move people around a bit. Just won't have as much pace on it because
Yeah.
this is where I am. It's simply what it
Yeah.
is.
It's okay. You just kind of, I mean, tennis is like a thing. It's a sport that, it's not consistent. And I mean,
Hmm.
for the viewers out there, it's like every day is different, whether you play a sport, whether you're an athlete, or whether you're just like a normal person living their day to day. Like some days you're going to feel great, some days you're not going to feel great. And it's just kind of the energy and how much effort you put out with what you have that day and what you do with that. So I think something that really helped me also enjoy tennis a little bit more when I first started touring, it's kind of like I felt like a workaholic. Like people would say, "Oh,
Hmm.
like it's so nice you're traveling," and I was like, "I'm going to places like Cairo, the middle of the desert. I'm playing on like gravel." I was like, "That place specifically, I was paying like $70 a night. I had no Wi-Fi for 3 months. I
Mm.
didn't want to spend money because I was still like
Yeah.
using my parents' money. Thank you for them for like supporting our like journey this whole way.
Hmm.
But like they would say like, "Oh, I can like buy you data for like $30 for the month," and we're like, "Don't spend the money on that. We don't need it." So like my downtime, I played Candy Crush for like a few hours, and I don't know how
Hmm.
I survived 3 months without Wi-Fi, but somehow did that. And then I would come home, and people say like, "Oh, like you're traveling so much, it must be so nice." I was like, "I don't leave my room. It just goes from room to court back to the room because if I get distracted, then it's gonna cost me." And
Yeah.
then I mean, social media really helped a lot too, because I was still in that mindset. And then I made like one reel, it kind of blew up. And then I started to do a little more funny comedic content
Hmm.
and started to grow a following. And then, like, a phrase that helped me kind of take tennis as a more fun, just like not stress so much. I mean, I've been mentioning a lot, I stress quite a lot, so it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kind of saying like, okay, take a little bit off my shoulders. I would just keep telling myself to kind of change my perspective on things.
Mm.
So it's like, um if I'm playing tennis, like, okay, I mean, it's hard work, but I'm very, very lucky to be here.
I get to be here.
And
Yeah.
yes, I think it was also, I mean, of course, like if I lose, I'm gonna be upset. And I can't
Mm.
just be like, "Oh, like I did my best." But I was like, that
The
doesn't
old
cut it.
grandma thing. Not everyone wins, darling. And you're like, that's not what's
It's
needed
like
right
that
now.
that doesn't cut it.
Can't
Like
win them
just
all.
let me be mad about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I mean, not gonna lie, I like I really like the phrase to like change perspective because
Mm,
social media helped so much to say like, tennis is fun. It's not like it shouldn't be a job. I mean, it is a job, it is
yeah.
hard work, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game. And it's a game that you're playing with someone and it's fun. It's hard
Mhm.
sometimes, but it's fun. It's satisfying to hit the ball in a good spot and it happened. I mean, it is an endurance game as well, but changing perspectives on things no matter what it is, sports related or like day to day, it really helps a lot. So
Yeah.
now when I'm traveling, I do try to give myself a few days at the end of the tournaments or maybe like just one day, a few hours, and I just go like, I'm here super fortunate to be in a different country right now. I like the amount of different lifestyles that I've seen is probably incomparable to a lot of other people. So it's like the fact that I can see all of this is like I'm super grateful for it. And then I was gonna say one other thing, but I forgot. But that's kind
No,
of
good.
the gist of it.
I think that's huge. I think one big thing you mentioned is cognitive reframing. So just reframing your mindset. So taking a negative thought and then, well, two things: taking your negative thought and thinking about like, is this actually true? Like, is this
Mhm.
actually a true thought that I had? Am I having like the
Yeah.
worst day ever? Is this such a bad thing? Is everyone really watching me? Like, expecting me to have this better product. And if I don't hit this ball within 1 foot within the baseline on the cross
Yeah.
court when I should be going cross, like, man, that's not a good product, Brittany. Like, is that
Hmm.
really happening? Or are they
Hmm.
just saying like, wow, cool, she's on the court, she's playing, she's living towards a goal. That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm I'm proud of her for that. Is that
Yeah.
like, what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
reframing your thought process is actually like, cognitive behavioral skill is actually a it's like
Yeah.
a therapy thing. And then the other one, no, I think it's a thing that a lot of athletes talk about. And the other one is just what I hear a lot of athletes say is that I get to be here. It's a privilege to
Yes.
be in the spot that I'm in, which is also a reframing
Yes.
thing, which
Yeah.
makes things and changes that thought process to like this is fun, this is enjoyable.
Hmm.
So I think when you do hit back on the court, and for any athletes when they do return back from injury, is part of that reframing thing to like what the sport means to you. One, I
Hmm.
think, is just having that concrete bit of this is process. All this getting back into it, not being where my level is at, is simply a part of the process. And the only way for me to get back
Yes.
to where I need to be is by training how I'm supposed to train. Doesn't mean you
Hmm.
overtrain, but training how I'm supposed to train. And
Yeah.
also the mental aspect of like this is fun, this is enjoyable. And
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
reframe the pressure into this is enjoyable, it actually creates a
Hmm.
better outcome. The formula for
Yes.
pressure is pressure comes and you can appraise it in two different ways. Technically four, keep it simple too. Either as a threat or as a challenge. So if
Hmm.
you have pressure of like, hey, I'm on this court again, I haven't played in a while, no, I'm injured or I'm coming back from injury. What will people look at me if like what my scores are because they can see it now on the website. They can just see if I won or lost or
Yeah.
not. I know they're all checking to
I
see
was
how
like,
I did.
am I gonna get hate comments after this just because someone bet
Yeah.
on me?
Why would you bet on me? It's like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? No.
Yeah. I think that's so
Um,
funny.
and I think if you appraise that pressure instead of a challenge of like, hey, I'm back here. This is fun. It's actually interesting. Actually, I
Yes.
want to I want to see this other challenge. I think this is really cool that
Yes.
I just lost this point and dumped it into the net. I think that's
Yes.
fascinating. Like my
Hmm.
arm felt a little tingle. I don't know if that was true or not, or if I just felt that because my brain told me to feel like that's fascinating. This is
Yeah.
so much fun. I get to be back on the
Hmm.
court again. And
Yeah.
then that emotion becomes more of a positive emotion. And then how you cope with that pressure instead of trying to disengage from it, which is like technically the worst thing you do scientifically is to disengage from the
Hmm.
pressure
Kind of
because
like
you
you
perform
have to
worse, right?
accept it.
You
Yeah.
accept it, you embrace it, but then you get more focus oriented.
Hmm.
So meaning like that's why I asked it, what do you usually focus on when you play? So if you feel pressure, I guess that's kind of what your brother is saying. Your brother's gonna be like, yes, yes. But if you feel pressure, if you feel the emotional state kind of like going awry, it becomes okay, regardless of my emotions, what do I need to focus on to hit the ball the best? Like, do I
Hmm.
need to like some players like, all right, I look to see what my opponent's doing. If they're doing this with their racket, that mean I know I can get inside this position. And then I like to focus on the ball and go from there. Like whatever I need to do as an athlete for my sport, for my position, to
Hmm.
do statistically, objectively, the best thing that I can do, that's what I'm gonna focus on. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
see that pressure, reframe it to be more of a challenge, reframe it to
Yeah.
be more fun, coming back from injury.
Mhm.
This is great. And then
Yes.
what I do know from my experiences, like if I focus on the ball and tell it to go left, that's how I hit best. Left, boom,
Yeah, that's where it's
right,
gonna go.
boom,
Yeah.
left, boom, right, boom. Ah, she's running. Ha ha.
And
Left,
then
boom,
and
right,
then
boom.
next thing you know, you're in the zone.
You're in the zone. You're in the zone.
Yeah.
And how you get out of the zone is focusing on anything but the present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you start looking at the score and you're like, "Oh my god, I got 1 game left. 1 game left, just one more." And then you're like and then the minute you're like you start saying the score to yourself, or especially if you go 1 game left, oh, it's over. Oh, I did remember what I was gonna say. But
Nice.
so like I mean, backtracks a little bit, but also kind of integrates with what you were saying is kind of like when you're coming off of injury and you see like people are you like you feel like you're falling behind,
Mhm.
especially if you're not an athlete. I don't know. For me, it's like it's easy to reference like normal life, but also comparing. I compare myself quite a lot to other people. It's not the
Yeah.
pressure that other people put on me, but of course, it's a lot of pressure I put on myself.
Mhm.
Um, Playing tennis on tour, it's not a very good profession if you want to make money unless you're in the top like hundreds. And tennis, once again, is a very expensive sport. So being 21, seeing all of my friends in college, and everyone's like, why aren't you going to college? Like, go get an education, go the safe route, stuff like that. And I'm not out here like spending money playing tennis. And it's
Mhm.
like maybe like I second guess myself, and I used to say like, am I missing out on a lot of things? Am I like falling behind in life because I'm not doing these things?
Yeah.
And I guess once again, it wasn't until this year where like I realized my own strengths. Maybe it's also just because I'm growing up as well. Like I'm becoming more mature.
Mhm.
So it's like I wake up, or not I wake up, sorry. It's like I'm doing things and I'm like, I'm learning a lot of new things. I mean, this was kind of, sorry, I'm like spiraling a little bit, but
No.
this was kind of why I decided to not go to college. I didn't have any interests other than tennis, like any subjects in specific where I was like, I want to study that and I want to do this. Like, I want to go to this job. So it was more
Mhm.
like, I don't want to go to college and just take GEs.
Mhm.
And I never thought of playing college tennis either. So I was like, might as well. I'm going to full send it,
Mhm.
and then when things weren't working out, I was like, okay, like maybe this was the wrong idea.
Mhm.
But I guess this year and the past year and a half, I came to realize like, no, this is like good because, you know, I've lived the real world now. Like I know what real world is like, and I know that I can survive out here. And
Mhm.
I've gained so many skills, not just in tennis, but because tennis is such like it gives you so many life lessons. And because of that, like because of tennis, and the grind that it puts you through and the positions that it puts you through, it's just like I can take anything and deal with it. Like I'm not just
Mhm.
gonna go hide in a corner. I'm gonna figure things
Yeah.
out. And then
Yeah.
because of that, it's just like I'm not falling behind people. It's cliche, everyone says this, but it's like you have your own path and like you just can't look too much at what's around you. It's like if your friends are succeeding, be happy for them. Don't kind of compare
Mhm.
yourself to them like, oh, I'm falling behind. Just be like, they're doing great and I'm going to do great and we're just going to grow together type of thing.
Yeah. I think that's where values come into play. I think, values and self-mattering is such a big thing for athletes because again, if you put your confidence in your performance, but it's only like if you put your confidence in like how well you perform,
Hmm.
but you're doing that not because you're interested in how well you perform, but in order to impress other individuals,
Hmm.
it's like a double-edged sword. Or just like my
Yeah.
confidence comes from how I perform, but it actually really comes from like if they think I'm performing well. Whether
Yes.
like it becomes from a really noble thought process of like my family put all this money into me. If I don't perform well, I'm showing them that this wasn't a good investment for them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When your parents
Yeah.
probably parents probably don't even think about that. Like my kid's not an investment, but like
Yeah.
like I'm doing it because it's what my kid loved, and like I would do that ten
Yeah.
times over. But an
Yeah.
athlete could be thinking like my parents doing this, and if I'm letting them down or
Yeah.
I'm letting my
Like I'm
friends
not
down,
giving them any results or
right?
doing
So
any of
performance is
this.
important to me, or outcome is important to me, but for the wrong reasons. I don't think it's a good
Yes.
reason anyway. But I think self mattering is so important, which is essentially how am I important to myself, how do I rely on myself? How am I aware of myself? So, from a
Mhm,
research standpoint, that's how we show that we matter to ourselves. So, an
mhm,
athlete could be like, relying is the easiest one. I rely on myself to get up, to train, to do all these different things, take care of my body, to be able to recharge. You mentioned that really quickly, briefly, of just like recharging
mhm.
your body and taking care of it. I'm aware
Yes.
of my
Like,
emotions, I'm
take
aware
your
of my
breaks when you
feelings.
need the
Take your
breaks.
breaks.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Like, I start reaching my breaking point, and then my support team, which is my brother, goes, "You need to get off the court."
Yeah. Well, I will
So,
say this. There's research behind that too. Is there's everyone's we call it self-regulation is a battery. So your ability to
mhm,
regulate your body, your emotions, whatever, your feelings, all that combined into one is just a battery. We can't make our batteries grow bigger. We can't do that. We can make our
mhm,
batteries drain slower, however. And as an athlete, you naturally train yourself because of how you train to have a slower battery. It's by training to be more self-regulated. And the fact that athletes naturally practice, diet, all this other stuff are all regimented is all self-reg. So naturally you have a slower draining battery.
mm,
But the only way to recharge the battery is by doing something that does not require any self-reg. So
yeah,
if player is on 100 and then hits the 30 but never recharges, maybe only with like 50, right? Then you're starting from 50% and then you
yeah,
can't regulate your emotions. So then when you
yeah,
do make like three bad shots, then you blow up emotionally because your battery is now on zero. So if you take
mhm,
time to notice how important it is to recharge it, then you can be able to handle a lot more pressure and different things. But nonetheless,
yeah,
back to mattering. And then also if someone understands how they're important to themselves, which I'm important to myself because my mind is important to my body's important to my mind.
yeah.
And
Kind
then
of just
also
all
on the self-esteem thing,
self-confidence.
it's
Yeah,
all self-confidence. But if it becomes more controlled, like you're figuring out, it's like, hey, instead of my confidence and my mattering being based on what I think other people think of me, it
mhm,
is more control for like how I think of myself.
myself. Yeah,
And I think values is a like self matter can become kind of complex, but I think values is really a simpler way to do it
mhm.
because, like, if you know what your values are, what are your values? Do you know what your values are, Brittany?
As in values, as in a person, as
Yeah, like
in
what are your personal values?
my personal values. I mean, I'm just for me, I'm just a hard worker. Like, I'm going to
Mm,
do stuff. I mean, I'm going to give it all, like my all, almost the majority
mm,
of the time, 100%. I mean, I
mm,
kind of felt it feeling this, not feeling this. I've been feeling this throughout this week, like helping my parents with this bakery and stuff. And like, I literally go to them and I start crashing out. I'm like, "Am I a workaholic? Like, I don't know when to stop working right now."
mm.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm like, I should be resting, and then I go do some work, and I was like, what's happening? Like, I'm just in a mode.
Mm,
So it's just like, no matter what I'm doing, like, I like to be efficient. I like to be organized. Forget about that mess you saw over there.
my brain was like, huh, it's all good. My office is messy too. Don't worry
I've
about
been busy, but
it.
so I like to be efficient, um, always giving it my all no matter what, and then of course, um, to be respectful of others and to stay humble because those are like the key values that I have because it's like it's not all about yourself too. I mean, self-confidence and self-love always helps with like everything in life. Like you have your own direction, you have your own path, but definitely be kind to those around you because then that's just gonna bring more positive energy to yourself too. And then it
Mm,
also boosts your self-esteem too because you're making someone's day or you're making someone smile and stuff like that.
yeah, I think that explains it. The reason why you like didn't go to college and stuck with it is because if your value is hard work, or rather, I would say giving 100% to what you're doing,
Hmm.
that explains a lot,
Yeah.
right? So I think if any athlete should have a value system, I have two, but any athlete should have values because then at the end of the day, it's like, did I live up towards my values? And then that
Hmm.
becomes very controllable. So if yours is giving 100% to whatever I'm doing, your family's restaurant, putting 100% towards that because that's what you're doing right now. when
Hmm.
you're on tour, giving 100% of that because that's what you're doing right now. And again,
Yes.
like it's also a cliche thing too. If you only have 40% to give, giving 40%, like whatever, or however you want to
Hmm.
phrase it to yourself, giving 100% to something is a part of that value system. So then at the end of the day, it's like for recovery, did I give 100% to that? For training
Yes.
today, did I give 100% to that? For
Hmm.
family, did I give 100% to that? I did, then I know I'm living towards my own value system. And that
Yeah.
is a no matter what anyone else says, no matter what anyone else does, no matter what else happens, I know I'm living towards a person that I want to become, continue
Yes.
being. So
Yes.
that value system can be really beneficial because when injured players recover, go back into the court, to know what the value system is and living towards it, that brings that level of self mattering, that level of self esteem that is controllable to that individual,
Hmm.
which is so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
I'm sure the viewers and myself are also curious. What are your two values? You
Oh,
can't
dude,
escape.
me
I
questions.
was like, let's not
Me
derail. Let me catch you first.
I had 2. So one is family, and
Hmm.
so,
For sure.
family is a really big one for me. I think everything I do is just for them, and
Hmm.
then the other one is to dominate. That's, like, the 2 values I have, and dominate and so dominate in every aspect of I can. The same way you have to have the 100% thing in every aspect,
Hmm.
dominate for me is in every aspect. So for example, this podcast, I wanna dominate the podcast. What that
Hmm.
means is making sure that I'm attentive, I'm listening to what you're saying, I'm able to
Hmm.
draw it back to strategies, I'm able to connect things that we talked about like 30 minutes ago into
Yeah.
what we're talking about right now, and to be able to be on point for that and make sure that listeners get value out of this conversation. So your listeners should
Yes.
get value from you. And that's what I think is cool about this podcast episode in particular, because like your storyline is really interesting and as a tennis
Hmm.
player and the backstory. So I think you're the people that watch your content, the short form content, can engage in the long form content. Like, oh wow,
Yes.
like this is all about Brittany that I didn't really know, like this aspect, this mental aspect of Brittany. So you're gonna get a deeper your viewers are gonna get a deeper understanding of you just by listening through this entire podcast, but you
Yeah.
as an individual, a content creator and a tennis player and Brittany
Hmm.
all packaged into one. And
Yeah.
also the athletes that are injured and are going through injury are going to be able to get strategies from me and from you, and learn about the depths of it. So this podcast is episode is really in depth. So I think
Yes.
it dominated pretty well. But even to like
Yeah. I
coffee.
think it's
So
pretty good.
I don't really drink coffee, right? But my wife drinks
Yes.
coffee.
Okay.
So she has a Breville and like the old espresso maker thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, I was like, "Oh, hon, I'll make you coffee. Don't worry about it." But then like 1 week into it, like I'm like flipping through like I'm doing my own research on like
I was like,
YouTube
you're doing the
shorts and
latte
stuff.
art 1 week into it, serving
My
up like a
latte
little
art is
heart.
trash. I can't do latte art. However, I'm very precise towards like my
You got
preciseness
the
comes from my
scale.
I got the scale. Yeah, I got the scale, and I got mad because my scale only went to like the first 2
Yes.
digits, but then it give the decimal digit. So I'm like, am
Yes.
I at
Yes. Yeah.
18.5 or
Got the
18.2?
0.01 gram
Yeah.
sensitivity.
I'm like, yo, that's such a big difference. Like that
It is.
increasing my extraction time by a second, it makes this way more bitter. Like I can't have that. And then my grind size, I don't know. I need to be able. So I have like a whole recipe book now, and so
Okay.
I like people will come over and I'll make them coffee. I'm like, what do you want? You want
Mhm.
caramel? You want raspberry? And I dialed in. Like I got a sheet. Like I'm dialed in. Chat GPT is my barista like expert. We
Hey,
go back and forth. And so I'm like, what was
but
that?
so I
9
gotta
out of
bring you
10?
bread and you gotta make me coffee.
Yes, I'll make you coffee. Make you a latte. It's so
I'm
good.
not
I'm
like
like,
a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, sorry, I got into it, but I'm like, what? I'm like, what's that rating? And like, what do you mean rating? I'm like, what do you rate it out of 10? It's
Mm,
like an 8. Why? And so I'm like, I don't want tens because 10 means it's perfect for that individual. I want nines. If I get nines, that means
you can
for
improve.
I can improve, and for the larger
Yes.
audience, it'll probably be more nines. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because if you give
Yes.
it 10 because the caramel flavors either you like the caramel flavor salty, right?
Yeah.
But for another person, that might be a 7. But if I get you
Yeah.
at a 9, most people would be like, it's a 9, I feel like. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's like my meticulous, like growing grass.
No.
Everything is
No.
very, that's,
I
mm,
completely understand. I think also because, like, me growing up with a family of business owners and a family who
mm,
runs restaurants, I mean, we wouldn't go out to eat that much, but we would always, whenever we would, especially back then, like, we would go out like maybe once a month, but we would go out
mm,
and, like, we're always like looking around and being like, how could this be better?
Mm.
and like it drove me crazy sometimes because like we'd be sitting there and I was like, can we just eat the food? Like,
Let me just
but
try
then
this.
I realized it really has like built me into this person because the person I am because I mean I have so many aspects and I have so many skills now. I mean I was like,
Mhm.
if tennis doesn't work out, if I can't find a job, you know, I'm gonna be a housewife or something. Because I was like, I can cook, I can clean, I enjoy both of it. My mom was juggling like 2 to 3 jobs at one point. My dad was super
Mhm.
busy with jobs, just trying to make some money. And then I grew up with home cooked meals
Mm.
and like my mom's food was always like so good to me, so I need to learn how to make these dishes. And then at one point maybe around 15, 16, I think around then probably is when she got so busy with work that my brother and I were like, okay, we're gonna take over cooking for the family, cleaning for the family. We'll do this and that. And then from then on, it's like every meal we have, we're like, oh, like, does it kind of taste like mom's cooking? Like, what does it
Mhm.
need?
Yeah.
And now, like, I mean, it's good that like I can look into a fridge and be like I can make anything. Like you give me
Mm.
anything, I can make something, whip something up. But it's bad because if I'm trying to cut on a diet, anything in the fridge I can make. And like if I'm bored, I'm just gonna go cook something. So it's like,
This
and
is a
if I
scrap
cook,
of
I gotta eat it.
chicken, a scrap of sweet potatoes, a half an egg right here, a half of an
Yeah,
uncooked egg. Like, I can make a dish out of this. It's all good. I got
yeah.
it.
And then like, well, you with coffee, I like it's kind of performative, but I got into matcha. And then also I've been
Mm.
getting a little bit more into coffee as well, but like the caffeine spikes sometimes like gives me jitters, so I don't
Oh
really
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it. But
Get
with
turned up.
matcha I like um what is it? I I gaslighted myself into liking it, I think. Like I wanted to like those Pinterest people and stuff.
Mhm.
It's like I wanted that lifestyle so bad that I started
Got the
to
wooden
become a little
whisk,
bit.
whatever the proper name is for
Yes,
that.
I can make banana cream matcha, which is pretty good.
Oh.
Strawberry matcha. I got Earl Grey matcha.
Alright,
I
don't get me
just
started. Don't
learned.
don't tip me. I'm like, "Hun, I'm making matcha." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Brittany makes
Hey,
matcha." Like, "Who?" "Brittany makes
hey,
matcha. We're gonna make
I
some
make
matcha too."
matcha. Follow me on my Eats account. I got my matcha on there. My friend works at a matcha place and she goes to like matcha once a day and she loved
Mm,
mine. So I was like, okay, I
yeah,
don't
I'm
really
in.
have to spend $8 on a drink anymore.
Yeah, it's mad
Sorry,
coffee's mad
we're
expensive.
getting derailed. We're
Very
talking
damn. We
about
should probably wrap this up. This is
this
cool.
is
This is
not about
fun.
tennis anymore. We're just talking about food and
I think I'll
drinks.
probably call this podcast, like, The Life of Brittany. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll figure out. I think it's cool. I think your
Yeah,
listeners
you
will
kind
get
of just
wow. It's
like
like
we're just talking and I mean, I don't think any of my audience really knows this side of me or knows my personality really. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, this was fun. This was really good.
Yeah.
Brittany, I appreciate you taking the time and hustling back and doing everything else. So cool.